I was pushing buttons over here and forgetting what the heck I was doing.
But it worked, hitting the buttons on that. Not that.
Oh, what do you mean? What do you think?
This.
Oh, yeah, I'm not touching this. No, this one works over here. Yeah, this is that's a thing where you touch it and it does what it's supposed to.
I can't see anything. It's like Latin Mass over there.
When you touch me, I do what I'm supposed to do.
There we go.
Too.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Touch me.
Anyway, hey, everybody, it's Full Spectrum Cycling. Anyway, it's show number 310 today.
The old 310.
Yeah. With us in the studio today is Kyle Kompas from Create Moto. He's our in-studio guest. That's
cool. Glad to be here.
Got JK over there with the Ride Like a Pirate shirt on.
Yar.
It's good for your booty.
It's good for your booty.
It'd be good for your booty.
Like Steve the Pirate.
That was my friend Tira did that shirt when we used to do our full moon beach rides.
Oh, nice.
Which will be resurrected, I think, this year at some point.
It looked like August 9th or something like that.
It is.
I saw it in the show notes.
It is
and
coming.
That inspired me to
go
into the...
do I already have that on here?
Go into my drawers of
that's under our shit worth doing column.
Indeed.
August 9th, Port Washington, Wisconsin, full moon beach ride.
Yeah. So I was inspired by that. And it being a long sleeve and 94% humidity out right now.
Good call.
Checks out.
Was not the wisest of choices. I probably could have waited another month.
I had to get
or so.
I had to get this shirt out of my painting shirt drawer.
Thanks.
It's one of my favorite shirts. It's one of Kyle's Create Moto t-shirts.
I legit had a conversation last night how I don't have any of my own shirts.
Because everybody wanted to give you money and you sold them.
Exactly.
Right.
All right.
I'd rather have $20 than a t-shirt.
I know an alley you can make $20 in.
I know a studio I can make $20 in too.
Right on. Yeah, that's for your OnlyFans. Tosonly.com for Kyle. Oh, that's not yours yet, right? You're still trying to buy that?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Yeah. Anywho, Milwaukee this past weekend. Again, a couple of weeks ago, very busy. Week before, not so much. This weekend, again, super busy. It was like, what in the heck is going on with...
And this coming weekend, it's not that busy.
Right, okay.
And so it's,
every other weekend there's something super, at least for what we're doing. So last week it was Fat Tire Tour of Milwaukee, which, again, it could not have been a better day for a cycling event. It was beautiful outside. Just about 70 degrees and sunny.
And you don't know the route until you get there.
Which was interesting because I was not expecting it to go north this year.
Same here. And it ended up being like many elements of my like normal day commute.
Right.
Or on a zesty weekend. Hey, I felt like going up the best place. And then I kind of meandered myself back home. And that's kind of the route. I mean... It was the direction and places that we stopped.
Right. It was largely large places.
I was like,
that was a good call because Champions could handle a decent sized crowd.
And I think they opened specifically for that.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't think they were
to have 400 of your closest cycling friends come in and spend a bunch of money at your place. Yeah, I'd open up too.
Yeah, there's one. Rob and Rachel from Sabbatic were behind the pine. Inside.
I did not even make it inside.
And then they're like, Mike. And I'm like, Jesus. And I'm like, are you going to be at Sabbatic at 7? And I'm like, maybe, which I didn't, but it was an option. It was an option, but.
I don't know how many observant viewers of the video on the YouTube. Hey, how's it going? Good. Thank you for showing up. Our number one fan.
You look great out there.
You look good. We replaced some art. We've got the Mark Winter, I believe the piece is titled "Every Clutch Album Cover Ever" or something to that effect. Yep. That's Teresa Waits, who is a Uptown regular. And this one is still here because it's still the right height, and I didn't want to mess with the symmetry of the whole deal. But
the one here prior was not a Winter?
No. That was I forget the guy's name. I'll remember it soon, probably when the show's over. But
it was intrusive to.
Yes, it was in the
nice
art.
It's called art.
But for logistically, I kept bonking
it had
into
like
it, and I felt bad.
A pistil, or what is that? Like a pistil from a flower coming
right,
out of it.
like and a leaf, an undulating petal, and the leaf it opens.
Kind of played as a lies type situation.
Strongly vaginal, all my art.
Yeah,
It's
yes. So how was your derby? I did get the derby on video. I'm not sure if it's super great. It's going to be on. It's probably posting it, self-posting right now on the book face. But
if there weren't a couple, a Ziegel in there who's very good at like stopping and hopping and has very seamless control of body and bicycle together,
which is how he won the derby. I would imagine.
And I'm just like, oh Jesus!
You're familiar with the foot down derby idea, Kyle?
I'm familiar with foot down, not so much the derby of it.
Yeah, it's basically
just a circle.
Yeah, I mean, keep your hands on the bars, keep your feet on the pedals, and try and get other people to put their foot on the ground, whether that's stopping in front of them or rubbing up on them
or kicking a head tube.
You can't take your foot off. Yeah. You can maybe do a wheelie into them. You could maybe kick them. You can do all sorts of
skids. I did a lot of skids because I was doing it with
Coaster Break King over there,
which was working for a while. If the Supermen weren't in there, I could have gone a little bit further, but then I ended up taking out Berta.
Yeah, I mean the one.
It was like
the one thing that I think about a good Minneapolis Derby versus this one is they got the idea. It's going well. It's fun. But instead of using the crowd to start pushing the circle in, the people who have been taken out use their bikes.
Oh.
So instead of having like 4 people take up the room of one bike, you just can't make the circle that small when you have bikes. So it gives people more of an excuse to go faster and ram people and stuff. Much more violent up that way.
Yeah. In the BMX world, first of all, if you can take your feet off and kick people in the head tube, and that's like a guaranteed win. But once you put your foot down, you leave your bike where it lies.
Oh, okay.
So that becomes an obstacle at that point as well.
So if you crash in the big berm turn, your bike's an obstacle for bunny hopping.
Exactly.
Right.
Huh. I didn't realize that.
And the rim bend.
Now I've learned something.
BMX bike might be a little more durable than a fat bike.
So we can let's get a little bit of background on Kyle, because obviously Kyle did BMX back in the olden times.
I did.
How was? Tell us about your cycling background.
Grew up in Milwaukee, South Side. Grew up riding BMX. Worked at Lake Owen as a BMX instructor. Those not familiar, it is like a summer camp for action sports.
Okay.
So you can send your kid there and have instructors like myself and other horrible-looking human beings teach your kids how to skate, skateboard, inline, BMX, scootering to some point as well.
Scootering?
But, yeah, it's a camp with ramps.
Is it?
That is in Lake Owen, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Just outside Cable.
Oh, right on. Okay, yeah.
So
in fact, I know where Lake Owen Lodge is.
It's now not a thing anymore.
Right.
But it was like a subsidiary of Woodward.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania, and in Utah they have one now too.
So this was how long ago? Because you're not older than 25, 30, right?
Fucking 39. I'm ready to get put down.
Dude! Bro.
It's probably at least 10 years ago.
Okay.
At this point.
I didn't know about this until we talked about it some time ago, but yeah, that's interesting that it's right up there in kind of the heart of a mountain bike country.
Oh, exactly. And even the BMX and skate scene up there, it's like 2 public skate parks in Hayward, like a half hour from the actual camp itself.
Sure.
Nice.
So it's kind of like a sleeper town of action sports and mountain biking and all that good stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff happening up there. You may, if you listen to the show, know that Sealy Dave is now in Sealy, which is not that far from Lake Owen.
Yeah, it's like between Cable and Hayward, isn't it?
Right, yeah, exactly. Where the Sawmill Saloon is. Basically,
like the song says.
Yeah.
It does sound like a song, though.
Well, it's the only place I ever eat when I'm up there, pretty much. Except maybe our place right down the road, the good breakfast joint. But so you did some cycling when you were younger, and then did you get into the motorcycle into stuff early too?
Not really. The motorcycle stuff, it's always been adjacent to my life. My dad was always into hot rods and race cars and kind of moto stuff, and then my family as well. My uncle was always super into Harleys. I coincidentally am not into Harleys at all.
Hey, you were working on one last time I stopped by the shop.
I get paid for it. But yeah, over the last couple of years, probably 10 to 15 years at this point as well, kind of really came around and found my corner in the motorcycle world, kind of catering to more of the neighborhood and community, running community shops and, like build programs, helping them high school kids
Yeah, that's
build race bikes.
It's been super popular.
Yeah, so I've kind of found my way through that, and it's turned into create being a community garage, and a community garage for motorcycles. The best way to put it when I explain it to people is a gym for motorcycles.
Like a gym membership for your bike.
Exactly. So so you get a membership. You have 24-hour access to all the tools, the equipment, the machines, and we have everything there to build any bike. And if we don't, I will get it.
Yeah. Last time I stopped in, you were working on the Harley. The time before that, I think you were sandblasting something, or I don't know. Yeah. And then I noticed you have a tire machine in the back, which is super handy.
Yeah, exactly. So,
so you got like basically a full-on shop.
Oh, yeah. So tire machine, presses, lathes, mill, TIG and MIG welders, sandblasters, literally anything you need, including 2 or 3 full sets of snap-on tools for any standard use as well.
Wow.
It's all right there.
So most of the people in there they're members of the collective, right?
Correct.
So they spend a certain amount of money, get a certain amount of space, and they get access to stuff that they might not have in their garage at home.
Exactly. And especially in this neighborhood too, not a lot of people have garages.
Yeah, no, Tony burned a bunch of them down. Not our old Tony, a different Tony. I'm not going to rat him out because he's no longer with us, but yeah.
So it's
not
become
too tough, Tony. Not too tough, Tony.
Not talk to Triple T.
We have a couple different options too, membership wise. So, our regular membership where you come and go as you please, you can store one bike. It's just our standard membership. Otherwise, you can always rent by the square foot in the shop to make a permanent spot for yourself. So if you do want to build out an area, want to bring your own tools in, your own equipment, and not have to deal with other people moving your bikes around or having to move your bike at the end of the day, you can rent by the square foot as well.
So that would be either racers who are prepping their bikes and getting those ready, or even somebody who might be doing work for their friends and making some money doing it.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah. If a guy just had a motorcycle and he didn't, so I know originally you were basically, you can be a member and come in, and if you don't know what you're doing, we'll find somebody here that doesn't know what he's doing or she's doing, and they will help you do it.
Exactly.
You're mostly going to do it, though. You're going to learn.
Yes.
As the person bringing them up, you're going to learn how to do it yourself, basically.
Exactly.
The vulture space kind of.
Kind of on the cycling side, sure. You've got an expert in there, and then you're doing.
Right.
But have you recently gotten into maybe doing a little bit more where people can just bring bikes by and have them worked on?
I try to avoid that for the most part, but ideally, shout out to Brian at Skidmark Garage in Cleveland. He made a great commercial. Pretty much starting with, people ask us what we do. We don't do shit. You do it. So ultimately, yes, I'll point you in the right direction. Mm-hmm. For the homies and stuff, or if it's somebody stopping by, oil change, tire change, we'll work it out between either myself or somebody in the shop. For somebody that doesn't want to commit to a full membership or have the time to do it themselves. So we will do light work.
Yeah, cool.
But for the most part, I always encourage people to fix your own shit
and learn.
Exactly.
And learn what hey, then I don't have to.
And even to the point we have drop-in day passes. So for $20, you can come use the shop for a day, and then throw tires on your bike.
So you get those guys doing the long way home or something coming by.
Exactly, they can come by for free. They're welcome.
So you guys are right next door to my shop in the building at 3700 Fratney in Milwaukee. I go by there pretty regularly, and it's almost always from, there's almost always somebody in there from in the morning until later in the evening.
Yeah, lately it's been pretty much from 8 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Yeah.
It's been occupied.
Yeah, well, it's worth stopping by there a little later in the day and bring a 6-pack or a 12-pack and sit around and watch motorcycle racing or shoot the shit about motorcycles or whatever.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Speaking of
what is that?
Sounds like a motorcycle.
The walls are talking again.
Well, I was wondering if it was thunder or if somebody's just moving something around upstairs. So there is another aspect to the Create Moto business is transporting motorbikes and sometimes refrigerators around the country.
Whatever works. If it fits in the van, then you want to pay for it.
Yeah.
So as of October, I started branch on my own. I've worked in dealerships.
Yeah, we were going to talk about the high-pressure dealership you worked in. Weren't they the highest volume Kawasaki dealer or something in the country?
One of the top 3 best Kawi dealer in the country. They won all the Ichiban Awards and Southeast Sales John's still my best customer I have.
Right on.
But yeah, worked in dealerships, around this area for probably about 10 years combined. After working in machine shops since about 2003, and then an opportunity to branch out on my own in October and start doing motorcycle transport. And with the relationships I've built in the industry and just general love to travel and contacts of people across the country, I've been doing transport since October. And
it seems like a great gig. You get to meet interesting people and deliver their bikes and check out the country. And
exactly. It's very specialized. Way more popular than I thought it would be this quick. It's a bit impressive.
Awesome. Let us talk about
the top of this hill.
The top of the hill, since we're in a van now and we're traveling and we don't have to pedal as much.
It's my favorite part is the bell.
I think I talked about this in a video a long time ago, but it's got a nice little clapper in there.
That's not the...
There's a good sustain.
That's not your typical crappy cyclocross bell. It's actually a legit cowbell, I believe. I think you can get those at cowbells.com or something.
Is that the real thing?
Yeah, well, at least when I got it, I checked again, and I don't know that they still have that one because it's just got excellent
sustain
tone.
And tone.
Yes.
And pitch.
Yeah. That's a nice bell.
So we are today at the top of the hill, thanks to Michael, bringing... This is an ode to the Terrapin station thing that I think we talked about it last week, but Tony contributed to the show. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you, Tony.
Contributed to the show.
We saved it for the show.
It is, yes, it is it's a Reddit post about the Terrapin station thing that Steve did on Chambers Street.
I still need to weld him some stuff for it. I totally forgot and pushing it off.
Well, the outside is looking pretty good. So. Yeah, minus the turtles, but otherwise, it's...
on the face place, there's a Dead and Company group that somebody posted a handful of pictures, going, "Oh, I'm not much of a deadhead, but my neighbor is doing this, and I thought it'd be cool to post it."
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
And it is, and
Athens, Georgia, Terrapin. This here brew comes from. We've had Terrapin before.
Yeah, the high and hazy. I think it's only like 6 and.
This is the high and hazy. I don't know. It tastes like it's not too old, and it's fluffy, sticky, foggy, pungent. Yes. Blah blah blah.
And I did purchase it from a place that I bought. Yeah, when I bought that Motorhead beer, that was like.
Speaking of the man.
About a year. Yeah, exactly. About a year old.
Ale
Asylum.
I think 6 months is kind of pushing your luck. You can use for your. So Kyle's drinking. He's drinking. Is that a sour or a seltzer? What is that?
Seltzer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's seltzer.
It's not called Ecto Kooler anymore because they got in trouble for that.
They did.
Yeah, there's cease and desist from a certain franchise.
My goodness.
Well, so now it is Spekto Kooler.
Is that from Eagle?
It is Eagle Park.
Eagle Park.
Because I don't like real beer.
Right. Understood.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know if it was something that they took upon themselves or it was kind of forced upon.
Now you guys can see Kyle 100% instead of just the front of his face.
I mean, they even had it like spelled differently at first, too.
Yeah. Oh, no, they had the EKTO, I believe it was.
But it would.
Was the original one ECTO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I'm going into my Ghostbusters trivia vault.
Put this in here so you can use this. I like to pee outside.
I saw that. I appreciated it.
Yeah.
They have a whole line of coolers too, though. They have like a Baja Blast knockoff.
I was confused by the variety of them that were in the cooler when I bought those coolers.
I mean, on occasion when I don't want a beer and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of ass sliding on liquor.
I got a ass pocket full of whiskey.
Yeah,
hip pocket full of gin.
It meets in between very nicely, where you can still taste it. And it's not like fizzy lifting drinks from the White Claw,
exactly,
or things of that nature.
Cool. So it's more like it's a beer though, kind of, sort of. It's a brewed thing.
Yeah,
malt beverage.
There you go.
Like a Zima. But much better.
Man, I'm just on
everyone bust balls on Zima. They did at the time, but man, they were just ahead of their time.
They were.
I was like on the cusp of the Zima generation.
Right.
It's like I kind of saw it, and
it kind of the closest equivalent now is Smirnoff Ice.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not talking about all the other carb lists and all that other bull
no.
crappery.
Yeah, or White Claw NA.
LaCroix.
I'm like, whoa, what?
Well, you're actually
yeah, that's like that, with the
actually
snake
putting calories into the can.
Yeah, your snake eating tail, kind of, what the sign of the Millennium Group from the X-Files universe.
Ew.
Okay,
So-
well, I went into my science fiction vault. And
Kiss the sky.
I can't get out of here.
Or-
But Terrapin,
Or
yes.
kiss this guy. I don't know.
Right?
Let's kiss the sky.
Excuse me when I kiss this guy.
Yeah, that's what I always thought it said.
I did for a long time. Another one. Garth Brooks, deep cut here. Friends in Low Places.
Yeah.
The lyrics I recently learned within probably the last year that it is not. I have friends in low places. I have friends at Old Aces.
What?
I grew up thinking Old Aces. Like, listen to it again.
Oh, because is that a bar you went to?
No, but I assumed it was.
I got friends at Old Aces.
We're head on down to the
Old
Oasis. That's what it was. It's Oasis.
Yeah.
I thought it was Old Aces.
Oh,
It's like probably like a cool bar, like me and all my friends go to, and
we're at Old
Yeah,
Aces,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah, and when you're karaoke,
They're gonna play
belting it
Motorhead.
out.
oh yeah, head on down to the Old Aces. Like
Actually, that'd be better.
that.
Yeah,
like, exactly.
it's more fitting.
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
for a
cool
any
country
kind of
bar.
country song.
Yeah, go hang out with Garth Brooks and
No, I had Ministry burning inside. Granted, I knew it's in the title, burning inside. But and the screaming, Bernie gets high, Bernie gets high, Bernie gets high. But it works out well because Bernie Sanders is in the national conversation for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's always, anytime it comes up, I'm like, Bernie gets high, Bernie gets high.
that rules.
I
check that one out.
wonder how many. I mean, I'm sure everybody screws lyrics up and for 10, 15, 20 years is singing the wrong lyric.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
yeah. But with confidence.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
That's the worst part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then your phone is doing like the karaoke thing.
Well,
and it's
yeah,
like,
when
well,
you
that's not the right lyrics. You
when
got
you're
it
doing
wrong.
karaoke, it's like, I'm going off. Yeah, I'm going off script, everybody.
You're submitting a complaint like it's Old Aces, not Oasis.
So some of our friends over there at Tosa Way, which is a couple of miles up the road, were on the news
Yes,
for doing some Tosa trail work. I'll be darned if TMJ4 is not the crappiest thing to try and find something on as a news story. It's like,
oh yes,
after 10 minutes of trying to find the thing, I couldn't find it.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to go into the YouTube hole. I don't think.
Well,
I don't think so.
If
They
you're
try to
gonna-
keep everything,
Yeah,
proprietary.
I get it.
Ding, 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 ding,
but
ding.
also,
But you
you
can't navigate their site.
Yeah.
I don't even try it.
No, it's dumb. Plus, you have to watch ads all the time just to try and find it.
And I'm
But anyway.
staring about like a half a mile in its direction, the mothership.
Yeah,
Of
it's right over there.
I just thought about it.
Just there.
It's
Exactly.
Like,
Radio City.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be Radio City, but
Oh, that's right. Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, those
Before
guys
all
were on there. I don't know
died.
if I had a link. I'm
And
not
here we
sure
are.
that it actually would go there. But all right, back to motorcycles
But and Tosa.
And Tosa.
and Tosa. Why? Where are they?
I don't know.
Are there motorcycles in Tosa? No,
Oh, no,
no. What I was going to
Harley's
kind of
there.
bring up is, with Harley being here, and with Flat Out Friday being here, and with the most kick-ass event ever that I ever saw for motorcycles, the Bradford Beach Bash or whatever they called it when they raced a little kind of flat track on the sand thing.
Mm-hmm.
You've been around the country? Is Milwaukee pretty solid on the motorcycle thing? What's kind of the culture like here? Is it
It is definitely very Harley heavy.
Yeah.
So it is that kind of V-twin cruiser. Definitely very heavy in that. Recently, I went to a couple different shows in Las Vegas and Portland, where you see a little wider range. A lot of the cafe racer, a lot of the tracker type stuff.
I love trackers.
Same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's where to go.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Or that kick-ass Himalayan you got.
I'm gonna drive that thing into the ground.
But yeah,
It's terribly familiar.
so just
Himalayan. Yeah.
It's like a Royal Enfield is actually based in Milwaukee as well.
Yes.
And the Himalayan's like it's a small displacement adventure bike.
I've been.
it just sounds terribly familiar to me.
Yeah,
right.
Because I'm not much in the engine cycle. mental
you might have been thinking of it as Himalayan.
the Himalayan.
I've
with
been
the wrong
you know
syllable.
there's a new season or not season, a new episodes of the Ewan
McGregor.
and Charlie thing of the long way home this time. And those guys are, at least in the long way home, they're riding more classic bikes and they're only on paved roads, which makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in the big shows where they were doing the big rides on the big bikes, I always thought, why aren't you riding a Himalayan? Because it would just be easier to ride, and it's pretty much dummy proof. And
exactly, I mean, things a tractor. For like all respects of the conversation, it's very simple, straightforward, air cooled. They're not fast at all in the least. I mean, 80, I think, screaming topped out. But
right.
For like the Trans-Wisconsin Adventure Trail, formed or known as the Twat. Things like that.
This is a clean show there, sir.
I know. I said shit once already too, I think.
Yeah.
The show has become terribly vaginal.
It's actually listed as explicit just in case.
Demonetized.
And it's not made for children, thank you.
But yes, from working for Royal Enfield and like being around, being in one of the dealerships and OEMs I worked for, seeing the launch of the original Himalayan was pretty cool. And like being part of that to experience a brand new bike coming out from a company that is older. It's the oldest continuously manufactured motorcycle company in the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Starting in 1901, but never stopping production.
And they built many of them in England first, and then being the colonies down there in India, did they start building them earlier, or was that a more recent thing?
It's pretty early.
Yeah, so it's a British thing. We need to get our motorbikes down there, don't we?
Our engine cycles.
Yes, engine cycles.
There is a great story like in the history of Royal Enfield where Royal Enfield in England actually closed, but nobody told India about it, and India just kept producing bikes when the headquarters in the UK was no longer around.
Classic. That's perfect.
So kind of kept them going unknowingly.
There's 1.5 billion people in India. They're not going to stop.
Yeah, when they're selling 1 million bikes a year.
Yeah, I with this long way wherever those people are going thing, I just thought that what they're showing mostly on the show with the sand and the thing and the deal and dropping the big bikes, I'm like, that would be perfect for a smaller bike.
Exactly.
But obviously the transition stages where you're just 5 hours just bagging it on a road with no yaks on it or anything, it might be better to be on the big bike. But,
exactly. Yeah.
Maybe something that could morph like Power Ranger. What are those guys?
Pufferfish.
Pufferfish motorbike.
Pufferfish.
Pufferfish. Something. Yeah.
Patent pending.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Especially something that you could just push a button and air up the tires as you're riding and drop the pressure and not have to worry about pumping them up manually or something. But anyway, it's obviously a formulaic series, but I still enjoy it because of the scenery and just the adventure that they're on, and
the production quality is
high.
Super top notch.
I've come up with this idea about doing a show called Shortway Round. It might be a tour of Milwaukee.
Yeah, just you stumbling around Milwaukee.
Yeah, it might just be
beers.
A couple of stops or we might go all the way up to Port Washington or something. I think we should capitalize on their good marketing and their ideas for how to film a show, and
I'm 100% into it.
I like it. Maybe we could do it on bicycles or motorcycles or.
Want to do it after this?
Yeah,
Kui Kwan could be involved. Short round from Indiana Jones.
I was trying to go there with it, but I couldn't put it together.
I know. I'm like, if I know I got it wrong, but I got to bulldoze through it.
Is he still around?
Yeah, he just won an Oscar.
Oh, well, there you go.
Heck yeah, for the thing about everything or something like that. A couple years ago.
Okay.
But yeah, he's like, no time for love, Dr. Jones. Where's the...
Oh, it's in the other room. I thought I brought a couple of them.
Then.
Oh well. Yes. Well, you go do that. I'll sit right here. And talk to Kyle more about. So Milwaukee, good for both cycling and for motorbiking, as they say. You talked a little bit earlier about the build program and kind of explain what it is. I think a lot of people don't know what it is and just how it mentors younger folk and whatnot.
Right. It's very STEM and STEAM based where...
Tell me STEAM. I know STEM.
Oh, I forgot.
What's the A for?
I think it adds arts into it.
Oh, good. I like STEAM because STEM is a little not too creative.
Right.
Whereas STEAM might be a little more creative.
Yeah. Don't quote me on it, but I think it adds arts into it.
Works for me.
Yeah. Where build started, it's got to be like 11 or 12 years ago. Tim Dixon with the Iron Horse was one of the original big push for it and one of the, the funding sources. But since then, it's become very grassroots where, these high school kids have to apply for the position. So it's like you're applying for a job. And then if you get the job, you're on the team. But then you also have to hire a racer. You have to have somebody doing your books, have somebody doing marketing for your team.
So it can't be a student that's your racer.
Correct.
It has to be somebody that has a license or has some skill or
exactly, and that benefits your team as well. Hiring a good racer, overall does help, your overall score and winning that contest. What it ultimately is.
I didn't realize that it was a Milwaukee invention per se. Is it around the country now or in other cities yet?
They're really working towards it. They've definitely branched out, outside Milwaukee. Like Columbus has a team this year, Sheboygan, Tomahawk. But Harley also jumped on this year. It's been Royal Enfield for the past few years, and in the early years, it was CB 175s.
Right. You have to basically use the same starting.
So yep, everybody starts with the
motorcycle.
Same. Yep, everybody starts with the same bike. This year is the XG 500, and then they have other sponsors hop on. So S&S, I believe, provided exhaust this year, and I'm feeling real bad on who's sponsoring this year, but so they all start with 100 days. Get a factory stock bike and have to make a competitive race bike.
Gotcha.
So, and then they do compete at Beaver Cycle Club is their big race for the year. Flat track, it's like a 3rd-mile oval.
Awesome.
But it's kind
I
of
love
cool.
flat tracking.
It's easy to watch. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's
my old man was a Harley Davidson. He worked in advertising at a company that did Harley, and they were at all the big Springfield and San Jose, and when I got to go to those, I'm just like, this is so badass for mile flat track stuff. And
especially the big stuff where seeing this, it's neat. And I've worked at a couple dealerships that have actually hired kids from the program.
Oh, there you go.
Saw Indian Motorcycle Muskego.
You know what you can't do with motorcycles or the build? You can't use the AI on them. You can't.
Exactly.
There's no artificial intelligence here. It's only intelligence.
It is actually kind of cool seeing the kids use AI in design because they do have to go through a whole design process.
Okay.
Laying the bike out, and even as far as colors and graphics, that is one of the big milestones they have to hit. But necessary evil, I guess, moving forward.
Yeah,
is going to be the AI, but ultimately.
To be fair, I did just put it in there for fun to say what question should I ask Kyle. It came up with all sorts of stupid shit, which I haven't even gotten into yet. But
is it all about punching drywall?
Yeah, maybe. No, not so much. What does your creative process look like from idea to finished bike? Are you doing everything in house? Blah 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 blah. This is more about building. I mean, they're good questions. I mean, since we've known each other for a while, I didn't really have to go through it. But I just thought, well, what if he was a guy I had never met? Would it make sense what it came up with? And they seem, semi-legit questions.
Right.
I know you're wondering what those things are.
I am.
I've been sitting in front of you this whole time. It's like, it's not for the OnlyFans channel.
Oh, shit. No, okay. Oh,
so these are made by a guy in Australia.
Interesting.
I think that's actually down under. I'm not positive. But
I think it is.
These are a thing that goes on the Omnium cargo bikes that we carry that replace a couple of the rack straps that have D-rings on them. Super strong D-rings, so you can use a different kind of a strap. You can use different hold down things because the normal one you're just kind of doing it to the rack, and this thing gives you these awesome D-rings.
Nice.
And Pell Mell, he's on the Instagram if you want to order. If you like any of these colors, though, I got them in the US of A. There is no United States distribution yet for these things, but he does such a good job, and I think if you order them individually with postage is what killed it. So I ordered 3 of them because the postage was the same for 1 set or 3 sets. And I'm like, well, let's get 3. But that's a Pell Mell thing. And if you like colors, let me know. I really kind of think I want the purple ones.
That's a good purple.
Yeah, it's a good purple. If Dave had an Omnium, those green ones would be gone right now. But anyway, that's for your Omnium cargo bike. Those are pretty cool. Here's one other thing I'll mention before we get out of here. It is that we talked about the big frame. Somebody stole it. Damn it.
Oh.
We talked about the frames last week, the AR-45, which we had done quite some time ago and have been sitting around waiting for my brain to figure out that I can actually get through axles for them. Thank you very much. But I threw some up on the eBay, and I also put some with what I like to call the gravel starter set. It's a gravel-capable frame and a wheel set for a very affordable fee on the Facebook Marketplace. So if you want to check that out, that would help us, keep these very hot lights on and make sure that we can be here next week.
I'm not perishing as much as I thought I was going to be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sweating my ass off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get that air conditioning coming in here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry.
I'm getting the musk.
The next 3 days here in Milwaukee will be,
Oh, shit. This weekend is
unfathomably warm.
Yeah. I did a test run of the AC at the house yesterday, and it works.
Same.
All right.
Let it run for a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That thing made some weird noises in the other room, but in the end, it just kicked in and started doing what it's supposed to do.
This weekend looks like one that, yeah.
Ugh. I'm not going out when it's 95. Well,
I mean, or I'll go out to get somewhere.
Air-conditioned place.
Shirts are optional at Create Moto.
Oh, right. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Pants, too?
Yeah, sure, whatever. We like to party.
Well, that's coming up. Yeah, there's been call out for the naked bike ride.
The naked bike ride. And it's only a couple of weeks away, I believe.
Yeah. They didn't really, I think you have to hit the QR code.
I haven't got it on the calendar.
To find the
Massive Crusher. You didn't do it.
The start location, which I think is
bleed everywhere.
Yeah.
I think it normally started around Cooperage, isn't it?
Never done it, and B, always cringe when I see them riding by. So,
well, it doesn't make. Yeah. I need something between
why is
me
it?
and
Why is it all?
Anything.
Why is it all 60-year-old guys? I don't get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know I'm a 60-year-old guy. I'm not riding around naked. That just seems stupid.
I witnessed it once through Walker's Point. I was very disappointed.
Yeah. It should be beautiful people.
Oh,
beautiful men, beautiful women. Maybe like Pee Wee over there. Finally, starting today, which would be the 19th of June, is the Tour of America's Dairyland races. They're going to be all over the southeast Wisconsin area. It's a lot of fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the highlight this year, I think, is going to be the Bayview race, which is a week from today.
Which is the Devo night. Yeah, I know.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that might work, though.
Because I know where I'm watching it from.
I know where you're watching it from.
I know where you're watching it from.
Do you know that...
But you said it damn convincing. Yeah, if you just bulldoze through. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, but tell me where you're watching it from.
Number one daughter is stage managing that stage. So
understood.
I am working on how to maybe get in there.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to be poaching, though.
Hell yeah. Perfect position.
It's a good stage to poach. So.
Yeah. It's that U line. You just sit there right at the end. Boom.
Yeah.
Got your own beer. Got your own beer. And there's a porta potty right there.
You may get to hang out with Milverine or some such.
Yeah. Listen to him for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
It's just not what, I don't know. I wasn't inviting it. And I'm like, I don't know.
So before we melt into the environment here, Kyle, are there any events coming up or anything that people might want to know about at the old Create Moto space? And or the building in general that has a bunch of event space in it?
End of July, I am working on a photographer type event. Kind of imagine a tattoo convention where you can go check out different artists and get work done by, a specific one fitting your style. I'm putting together an event that is going to be that, but for taking photos of your bike, and not limited to motorcycles.
Right on. Yeah.
That's end of July. Look for that one.
It sounded like a good one because we kind of opened that up yesterday a little bit, and there's a lady that does tin types, which are obviously an entirely old way to do stuff. And
she's been killing it. Amber Asher's been doing pop-ups now twice at the shop.
And there's a guy that's into motion, so maybe you're flying by him and he's getting the...
Yeah, we have friends with photographers that shoot for magazines and some high-end like Formula Drift type publications.
Yeah, cool. That sounds like a good one. And then maybe a swap meet towards the end of the summer.
Swap meet towards the end of the summer. Our first one, it was decent. It wasn't advertised as well. It was kind of a feeler. Got a lot of good ideas from it. And I think moving forward, I can produce something very unique, more of a farmer's market style motorcycle swap meet.
Motorcycle
retail
adjacent.
Exactly. I mean, Amorphic. Shout out to Ron as always.
Oh, yeah. We haven't said Amorphic yet today.
It's a farmer's rocket reimagining.
6 more times.
Reinterpretation.
Yeah, if you've been to either...
It's like Glengarry Glen Ross. No, like Glenn and Gary. No.
You
I'm
are
not going
You're
there.
drunk. Go home.
I'm not going on that one.
he's in good shape this week.
Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
that's
Yes. That's what, yes. No, yeah. Don't get into the Leahys.
All right.
But yeah, Ron always does good events over there and everything. Does indoor farmers markets all winter and just a very cool vibe. And I kind of want to
I wonder if he was aware of
that.
the event last night when we stopped by there.
Dude, that was rough.
It's good when it's in the back because you can just go touch on it a little bit and then you can leave. But it was in the main.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh,
We'll talk about it after the show.
understood. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
All right, everybody. Hey, thank you, Kyle, very much for being a guest. I'm
Thank
surprised
you
you haven't
guys.
been over here before.
Yeah, I've never even been to your shop. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
When you've definitely got hammered in my shop dressed as Santa, and I think
might have done that. Might have done.
the least you could do is invite me over and check it out.
You probably don't remember.
Oh, I remember fine. I'm sure
All right.
you don't.
Well, you can certainly come over anytime. Or we could go to a remote in your shop.
We could do
We
that.
just take this shit over there and set it up and have the background be motorbikes instead of artwork and crap.
Nails, yeah.
Yeah.
It's art.
Every
right.
Clutch album cover ever.
It's like,
So it says.
it's funny because it's not that far off. Like,
All right, everybody. This is us now not being here anymore.
Poof.